Good morning, Mrs. Samuels. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for letting me come spend some time with you here. Like I said over the phone, my name is Rochelle, and I am going to be your intensive care coordinator for you, for Trey, and for your family. And I wanted to spend some time today explaining what in the world ICC means and how we can work together. But before we even do that, do you know why I was referred to your family?
I have no idea.
Okay, so I want to start there. So I got a call from Trey's adoption worker saying, because he's had multiple placement changes, I understand. And so this was a service that he had received in the past, and so his adoption worker had referred to me stating that she thought that it might be helpful to try this service again with him and his family. Did Pam talk to you about putting another service in place?
She talked briefly about that.
Okay, and that's me. That's where that came from.
Okay, now that makes sense.
Okay, and so I want to spend some time today hearing what's going on with Trey in your home right now. I want to start there because I knew Trey a couple months ago and I was working with him through this process when he was with another family. But now he's with your family and the culture of your family is different, and I just kind of want to hear how things are going and what your biggest concerns are right now.
Well, if we could just keep him in school, that would really help. But he's in school, he doesn't follow the instructions from the teacher, he's getting suspended, he's in fights, and he's just mouthing off, and sometimes he's like that around the house, and I can pretty much get him to do what I need him to do, but he can be very mouthy.
So, being mouthy it sounds like, when you say being mouthy, what do you mean by that?
Well, he'll talk back, he'll tell me what he isn't going to do or what he will do when he feels like doing it. And in school, it's 10 times, 20 times worse because that leads to suspensions out of school, suspensions in school. I think he even had lunch detention before. But yeah.
So it sounds like you're doing something in the house right, because I hear you saying like he has these behaviors at home, but you're actually able to redirect him, whereas at school he has those behaviors and they lead to bigger consequences. So what's going on that you're doing in the home?
I take away everything.
Oh, take away everything.
No privileges.
And that works?
It works for a little while, but we have to figure out some other things because I think he's getting used to being in a quiet room.
Okay, so it's working right now, but you're not sure how long it's going to work.
Right.
Okay, are there any other concerning behaviors in the home? So I'm hearing that things at home are going okay. What are some things that are going well?
He'll keep his room clean.
Okay, so he's good at the chores.
He's good at his chores. He will wash his own laundry, and what other chores he has throughout the home he'll complete.
Well, it's good to hear that. That's good. That's fine. Okay, so it sounds like our primary concern right now is to really looking at the school piece, which is really great because the purpose of intensive care coordination, which is we by short we call us the ICC workers, is to pull your team together. And so right now, from hearing from you and our conversation on the phone, you told me that he currently has a well, we know he has an adoption worker. He's involved in school, and he has IEP. He has multiple different systems, and for a little while he was on probation. Is he still on probation?
No, he's not on probation anymore.
So at least we don't have that person on the team.
Praise God.
Yeah. Celebration, right? And so we have multiple members of the team, not to even mention the UMFS team and you and your husband as the resource parents and all of Trey's natural supports, because through all of his placement changes, he has had multiple supports that want to be a part of the team. And one of the things we talked about on the phone was how great you guys have been about letting him go see all of his different supports. And so high fidelity wraparound, which is what we use, that's the model we use, the purpose of it's team-based. So we are going to pull that team together. But in the center of that team, in the center of everything we do in this process, is your family's voice and Trey's voice. And so you will actually lead us, and we will look at the prioritized needs based on what you and Trey say. And what's interesting is when I talked to Trey 5 minutes ago, he identified the same prioritized need a little bit differently. What he said was his biggest need was he wanted to graduate high school. And what I'm hearing you say is that you really want him to just go to school and be able to maintain in school. Those are very close to being the same need. So what we will do through the high fidelity wraparound process is we are going to prioritize those needs first. Then we are going to pull in the supports that both your family has as well as Trey. And we're going to come up with one plan, and we're going to use that, we're going to try that plan, because we have a saying in high fidelity wraparound that families don't fail, plans fail. And so when the plan doesn't work, we're going to make a new one. And my job, my role is to help coordinate that process. What questions do you have about that?
I don't have any questions right now.
Okay.
Or maybe I do. So when are we going to start this?
We're starting it right now.
Oh, okay, great.
This is the first part of the process, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this meeting today and I'm going to write down all these great things that we said. But before we even do that, I want to talk for a minute about these safety behaviors that we have concerns around, because before I leave today, what I would like to do is make sure you have what we call a Band-Aid plan. And so it is a plan that we can use right now to help move so that maybe Trey can stay in school, because I'm going to ask you one more time just to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. I'm hearing that the prioritized safety concern is the aggression in school.
In school.
Okay.
He needs to stay in school.
And so what I hear is that the behavior is being identified as him being mouthy, talking back, not doing what he's told. Is there some physical aggression too?
With his peers.
So he's getting into fights. So those fighting behaviors. And so what does that look like?
Oh, he's just fighting to try to prove himself.
Okay.
There's no real reason to fight, but he'll fight just to prove himself.
When he fights, what does he do?
It's physical fighting. So he's punching and kicking and...
Oh, Trey, I see you're walking around. Come join our conversation. Trey, what happens right before you get into fights? Because I know you've been hearing us talk, so I thought I'd pull you into the conversation.
Well, people just say stuff to me, and I don't like what they say.
Right.
So, I ain't no punk.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show them who I am.
All right, Trey. Well, I hear that you're not a punk. So that's a trigger for you, is when people talk to you or
just don't be smart with me.
Yeah, what does he say? He goes, when you have a beef with someone. Yeah, that's what he says. Okay. And so when someone's saying something to you, where are you usually? Where does this occur? What's going on in your environment?
I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah. Are you like in school? Are you?
It's always in school.
It's always in school. So
Always
that's a setting event for you. And the trick. So is that why? What's the difference between you being in school and you being outside of school?
Because that's where all the drama is.
Oh, that's where all the. So what's the drama?
They think I'm a punk.
Okay.
And I'm not a punk.
All right. So
I gotta show them that I'm not a punk.
Do you ever feel like people think you're a punk at home?
They don't see me at home.
Okay. But you have peers at home. You have brothers at home.
Yeah, but that's my brother.
All right. So there's a difference between your friends and your brothers. Okay.
They know me.
All right.
They don't know me at that school.
All right. So I hear Mrs. Samuel saying that you're fighting just because you want to fight, and I hear you saying that you're fighting because people think you're a punk.
They think I'm a punk, and
right.
I ain't no punk.
And you ain't no punk, so you're gonna stand up for yourself, right?
All
right.
I sure am.
So
I'll do it again.
So there was a time last week where somebody did say some words to you, and you walked away. What was different that time?
Because I didn't want to get in a fight, but he kept talking.
All right. What else was helpful?
I got my girl. So.
And the teacher intervened.
Yes. And Mr. Smith got involved. And I didn't want to hit Mr. Smith.
And you have a relationship with Mr. Smith.
That's my man.
Okay.
I like Mr. Smith. He helps keep me calm.
Okay. All right. So is Mr. Smith, I'm hearing a plan formulating here. I'm wondering, Trey, if you're hearing something that you can do to help you between now and the next time we meet, because we're going to dig deeper into this plan to help you, because I know your goal is to graduate high school.
I mean, I'll try and walk away again.
Okay. That only works every once in a while. What was the one thing I heard you just say that works, that actually worked? Because walking away helps sometimes. But there was somebody that was involved.
Who, Mr. Smith?
I don't know, you tell me.
Well,
Trey?
I mean, yeah, he cool. He helped.
All right, cool. So could we try then next time you have a beef with someone, finding Mr. Smith and getting Mr.
I'll
Smith
try. I'll try, but you know, I'm not a punk.
You're
But
not
I'll
a punk.
try.
So
I'll
I
try.
wonder if there's a way that you actually don't have to be the one to find him, and he can keep an eye on you so you don't look like a punk, because that's important.
Cool.
Okay, so you're okay with me sharing this plan.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Samuels, how do you feel about this plan?
I think that would be absolutely wonderful if we could get Mr. Smith involved. That it will at least be one person in the school that's supporting him.
So one of the other things in this process is that we build your team. I'm wondering if I can invite Mr. Smith to be on the team.
Please do.
All right. And so, we've made a list today of all of our team members. So if you could just sign these confidentiality forms, and that's giving me permission to let them know what this process is and how you all are involved, and
Sign
to get them
right
on
here?
the team. Yes, please. Sign on. Here you go. Here's my pen. Okay. Fantastic. So here's a copy of our Band-Aid plan where we outlined our triggers and what's going on in school and who can be helpful and what we want to try. And it sounds like what we really want to try is getting Mr. Smith to be on board. And I'm also hearing, Trey, you saying, like, we talked earlier about transitions being really hard for you. And so maybe that's the specific time that we have Mr. Smith come check up on you. How's that sound?
That's cool.
All right, cool. Good. And so the only thing I haven't covered today, since we do have our crisis plan and we've gone over a little bit what's going on with the family, is confidentiality. And so, Trey, what is it? What you and I have worked together before. What does it mean for me to keep your confidentiality?
You won't talk about what we talk about?
Unless
I'm a threat to myself.
Or somebody
else.
That's right. And so that's that fancy word, mandated reporting. And so if there anybody, and not just you, Trey, but if you tell me that someone's hurting you, or if you're going to hurt someone else, I do have to call and tell somebody that. What I will do is I will talk to the team about how in High Fidelity Wraparound, if any of your team members, because a lot of your team members are also going to be mandated reporters, that all of us together will make that call with you. And we will be very transparent about how we're going to make that call. And so I just wanted to be very clear that this is also a transparent process. And so I will keep your confidentiality, but we're going to have lots of conversations about how we can be transparent with what's going on. Because I think I'm pretty smart, Trey, but all of us are going to have a whole lot better ideas if we have a whole team around us. Does that sound cool?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You guys available next week at 2 o'clock, same time?
Can we make it 2:30?
Yes, ma'am. We can make it 2:30. We can make it 3 o'clock if that's better.
2:30 is good.
All right. So during that visit, what we'll do is I'm going to come back with everything we talked about today, a little more formulated. We're going to spend more time talking about what you and your family want as your vision for moving forward. And I'm going to answer some more questions about High Fidelity Wraparound and what the process is. But instead of going through all of it today, we're going to take it step by step. And I have this packet of information right here that's a family guide to this process. And so what I'd like to do is give you a little bit of homework if I can. My homework is to write down everything we said. And what I would like you guys to do is just look over this material, because it takes some time to process this information. And then when I come back next week, we'll get it more into this. And then, Trey, your homework is just to try your Band-Aid plan and let me know if it works or not. And if it doesn't work, we'll try something else. Sound good?
Sound good.
All right, see you next week.